Hello, we are here today to look at an amazing, complete new series of books for the teaching of American English to young learners. It is called Super Magic. Super Magic takes the child from an absolute beginner level to a basic level, covering the entire programs from A1 to A2, according to the Common European Framework of Reference. This slide shows the covers of the 6 separate books in the series: Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, 4, 5 and 6. The authors of Super Magic are not new to writing, and I can assure you they are not new to teaching this age group either. Maria Grazia Bertarini, Martha Huber and Paolo Iotti have lots of experience with young learners, and I think I can add, may be considered as experts in the teaching of this area. What can I say about the methodology? Well, in line with all ALI products, this incredible new series closely follows the natural growth of the child. The authors, as with all the teaching material they have published with ALI, pay special attention to the whole child, so the teacher can make use of the child's natural development as she goes through the 6 books in the series. All children love stories, songs, acting, games, well, playing in general. So Super Magic transforms these activities into learning ones, meaning that children learn while doing the things they love most. The course program is based on 4 macro areas, making full use of the children's natural development and awareness of self, their world, the way they see things, and as their perception of the world develops and changes as they grow, so does Super Magic develop and change. By following this growth, this development closely, Super Magic allows the teacher to present and practice, eventually getting the children themselves to produce language in a natural way. CLIL, Content and Language Integrated Learning, is in the course book as well, which helps the children to be opened up to the new English-speaking world by getting them to express themselves in English while talking about science, maths, music, art, and many more school subjects. So what does the student get? Super Magic offers 6 separate course books with the accompanying activity book, complete with its own audio CD, so the child can work independently out of school. Teachers know there is never enough time in school to practice everything, and the combination of course book and activity book will give the pupils some needed extra practice. So, let's start by going through the levels more closely so that I can show you the points I have mentioned, how they are presented in Super Magic. Progression of levels reflecting a child's development, focus on a child's point of view, fun while learning. Let's start with the lower levels, 1 and 2. At this age, children need lots of exposure to the English language. At the same time, you do not want to force them to produce the language in a written and perhaps even spoken form if they are not yet comfortable with the new language. So here you will find lots of listening and doing activities, lots of TPR, lots of total physical response, lots of fun, lots of doing and creating, lots of whole class activities so as not to embarrass anyone by asking individual pupils to do anything on their own in front of the rest of the class. The teacher can decide if and when the children are ready to produce language on their own. In the lower levels, Super Magic 1 and 2, you will find 6 units, lots of games which are learning activities disguised as games, activities of doing and making, the arts and crafts part of the unit. As I mentioned, CLIL. At this lower language level, this means simple yet effective activities, and I'll show you a page in a moment so you can better understand what I mean. A festival section is in every book, seeing that festivals are an integral part of the American-speaking world. I'm talking about festivals such as Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and so on. There is a play in the book, so that the teacher can have an end-of-year performance for parents, have her pupils perform for another class, or even only to perform in front of no one, just themselves, just to have fun. Here are 2 examples pages. On the left, an original song to practice the vocabulary of pets, complete with actions. On the right, an activity completely different. This one is a listen and do something. The top one is a listen and colour activity. The second one is listen and repeat activity. This type of activity lets children who are shy not say anything if they don't want to, or speak in chorus with the rest of the class. And so this lets the teacher perform a team doing activity. Here we see an example of a CLIL activity that I said I would show you. In this case, a science lesson. The senses are presented in English, also as part of vocabulary of the body. So here the body is linked to the senses. Another song is used to assist children with memory, to make the lesson more fun and to get the students moving. In Book 3, we can already see a progressive change in approach. The child is developing, and so does what is asked of the child in this course book. The book starts with a revision unit, which will help them after the summer break. At times, adults forget what a large proportion of a child's life is in the summer break. So it is absolutely essential to have a revision unit, and Super Magic has one at the beginning of every level. Each unit starts with a photograph. No longer lots of drawings, but more photographs of the real world, which is also present in the lower levels. But here the photographs help the child to see more of the world, possibly giving him the chance to view, to experience things outside of his own so-called natural environment. If you don't see snow in your direct world, a photograph of a snow-covered house and a garden might just help comprehend and recognize what they've seen in films. So you can see here that the Super Magic methodology continues on the same lines. Fun while learning is still a major point. However, a new element is introduced at this level: grammar awareness. Clear boxes highlight a particular interesting point in terms of grammar for these young learners. As stated before, photographs are used to introduce the topic. Here we can see an example of typical American foods: chicken, pizza, and fries, used to present the topic of food. Here we see how the same vocabulary, that of food, is used in a comic strip story of a picnic, with the grammar of like and I don't like. There are notes in the teacher's book to turn this story into an acting out activity, should the teacher want to. The picnic is complete with ants. So there's a role for every child, even in a larger class. And here we see another double page spread from Super Magic 3. The progression I talked about in the beginning can be very, very clearly observed. More on the page, a longer passage than the previous levels, a box focusing on the grammar, in this case third person singular, illustrated with the verb like that we saw on the previous page. Moving on to the higher levels, 4, 5, and 6, we see the progression in the child's development reflected in the methodology in the books. Progressively longer texts, more writing activities, more photographs of the real world, once again extending the child's knowledge of the world. We see focus on American pronunciation and intonation. You will find grammar awareness boxes that we saw in the previous level, leading progressively up to more detailed grammar boxes in Book 6. In Super Magic 4, 5 and 6, the review unit that starts each book is still there. Learning games are still there, with activities leading to the child's own taking control of his own learning. This is me part of the book. And the final part of the book, a self-evaluation section. CLIL remains part of the course, and you will note the topics here are still to do with the child's own world, awareness and self. The festival section cannot be overlooked, nor can the use of plays and drama, all assisting with the child's perception of self and the world around him. This is the CLIL part, focusing on computer studies taken from Book 4. Apart from the technical language of computer parts, it also looks at what one can do with a computer, paying attention to the child's own use of a computer to personalize the language. Here is an example of a reading exercise. Universal Studios in the US might be something the children have heard of or perhaps even been to, and might be able to talk about in their own mother tongue. Through this reading and listening exercise, the children are informed about this culturally exciting place in English. For those who have not been there or know nothing or very little about any places or events in the books, don't worry. The teacher's guide fills you in so you have lots of extra information at your fingertips. Here is an example of the pronunciation and intonation pages in the book. Visuals are used to help with the intonation, as you can see in the boxes on the right hand side. And here is one of the pages showing an example of how drama is used throughout the series. At the bottom of the page, there is a grammar exercise using the inductive approach linked to the reading and the listening exercise above it. I mentioned it to you before, and to show you what I was talking about, this is a page dedicated to culture. American culture is the emphasis in this series, reflecting the American pronunciation and grammar used throughout the series. Again, should the teacher not know too much about the subject, assistance is in the teacher's book. Apart from the course book for the pupils, let's not forget the activity book. And here we are. Vocabulary, skills, grammar, they're all here and more. Everything that can be done with the teacher in class is represented in a different way so the children can repeat and revise what they did in class in a new way so as to avoid boredom. The accompanying audio CD gets the child to practice listening skills and actions. On these two pages, the focus is on listening to use the information heard to complete an exercise. Before doing it, they have listened to the information heard as words separately. And on this side, they get to put them into sentences straight away. So what about the teacher? What do you get? Well, here you are. This is what you, the teacher, gets. The teacher's book, which is also a resource book, and I'll come to that in a moment. The 2 CDs per level, flashcards, story cards, posters, puppets, and more. By more, I mean this. The teacher's book is much more than just the answers to the activities. Each contains the methodology in Super Magic, the objectives and the complete course content to assist with long-term planning. Each unit and lesson has teaching notes to assist with short-term planning. Extra activities for those who have pupils who finish quickly, or for those who still don't under a particular language point, or for those who have pupils who are so interested in a particular aspect that extra activities are needed. No need for the teacher to spend hours and hours searching for extra material. It's all here. I said it before and I'll say it again. Background information. Background information on the cultural aspects covered in the book are here. Notes on how to exploit the plays in the books, whether it's your first time or you have lots of experience. It is nice to have advice and suggestions on how to put on a play, create costumes, and also how to involve the entire class in the activity. Who doesn't teach a class with multi-levels? In the teacher's book, there are photocopyable worksheets to extend, revise, consolidate the language presented in class. These can also be used as tests for those pupils who move faster than others and get bored, or for those who are slower than others at understanding and simply need more practice. It's all here. It's all here in the 6 books. There's a teacher's book for every level. Flashcards of photos and images for the little ones come with the teacher's pack at the lower levels. Story cards to present or revise language. Note that one size has the story illustrated to be shown to the class, while the other has the story for you to read out and a mini illustration of the front. There we are. So you can add your own questions without having to turn the card around. It also has suggestions on ways to use these cards in the wonderful, fantastic teacher's books. Posters, 10 in total. These are for vocabulary and games. The teacher's book will give you some suggestions on how to exploit these colourful, practical extras, as well as how to play the games that are illustrated. A digital book for each level is also included in the teacher's pack. On each one, the teacher will find the entire student book package. All video and audio tracks are simply a click away, as well as interactive exercises, meaning that the teacher can repeat as many times as necessary each activity so that all children can make progress. If you have an interactive whiteboard, it is even easier for the students to have fun, heads-up moments, along with everybody else in class. Children who need special assistance can work individually with the teacher at their own pace on a class computer. The teacher can decide how to use this amazing book best. A simple click enables the teacher to enlarge part of the page to get the pupils to focus on one part, the one part they want to practice with their pupils. And here are all the extras together, a wealth of resources. Detailed teacher's books, posters, flashcards, audio CD, and an adorable hand puppet. So there we are. We have had a first look at Super Magic. I thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy this amazing, delightful, and extremely useful American language course for young learners. Super Magic.